Okay, problem number 1A from the horrible quadratic function graphing, whatever the heck you want to call it. Question says, find only, and I repeat, only the x and y intercepts. No vertex. X-intercept, you set y equal to 0. So wherever you see y, you put a 0. Then you factor. Easy peasy. Signs are different, so you put minus and plus. I mean, to make it 3, you have to use 4 and 1. Set this one equal to 0, this one equal to 0. We can skip that step here. You get these two numbers. When you write them as points, x is 4, y is 0. X is -1, y is 0. Y equals 0. To do the y-intercept, there it is. Set x equal to 0. Wherever you see an x, put 0. Easy peasy. Yes, I actually have to see you do that, as obnoxious as it is. 0 squared is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. Blah, 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 blah. You get 0 minus 4. Y is minus 4. So x was 0. Y is -4. X intercepts, y intercept. Remember, you will only get one y intercept without exception. X intercepts, you usually get 2. All right, problem 1C. Many people got this question wrong. The y-intercept is easy. X equals 0. I always do this one first. Just replace all the x's with 0. I mean, this is trivial. 0 squared is 0. 16 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. Wow, that was really difficult. So the y-intercept is the origin, 0, 0. The x-intercept, right, you got to set y equal to 0. So wherever the y is, you put a 0. Now here's the problem. How to factor that. And I mean, I saw some crazy crap. You know, the common mistake I see is people put x plus 4, x minus 4. The problem is 4 times 4 is not 16x. People put 8 and 2, same thing. 8 times 2 is 16, but it ain't 16x. This is not the difference of perfect squares. This is not a trinomial. This is a greatest common factor. They have an x. All you can do to factor this into a product of smaller things is factor the x out. Set each one equal to 0. I'll cut to the chase. You get 0. Oh, look, 0, 0 again. Yay. And then you get 16, 0. So the x-intercepts are 0, 0, 16, 0. Very easy to factor that wrong, so you need to be very careful. Question 2. Oh, this is going to take so long. The vertex. It's in that form, HK. This switches. This stays the same. Well, that was hard. Now, what if there was a 3 here? Who cares? Doesn't change anything. Oh, yeah? But what if there's a 5 there? Who cares? Doesn't change anything. Okay, fine. What if I put a -2 there? It's going to change things. No, it doesn't. This number is irrelevant. This number does nothing but make it skinny or fat, and the negative will make sad face or happy face. So this number has no bearing at all. Doesn't matter what's there. This switches. This stays the same. Ignore what's here. Okay, 3A. So many of you had trouble with this one. Gotta be careful. This one, you actually have to work for it. If you want the vertex here, you have to use the vertex formula, which is -b over 2a. Now, a is 4, b is 16, right? A is the number in front of x squared, b is the number in front of x. Plug them in. -16, right? -b, 2a, a is 4, so you're going to get an 8 on the bottom. So that tells you that the x part of the vertex is -2. I mean, you're halfway done. So I know that x is -2. If I want the y value that goes with this guy, I got to put -2 here and here. So to figure out what the y is, replace the x's with -2, and then just evaluate it. Now, again, you got to be careful here. This is where a lot of people made mistakes. You cannot hop the fence with the power on. You will get electrocuted. You must shut the power off. So you have to do, right, order of operation. You must do exponents before you do multiplication. So you got to do the power. So -2 times -2 is +4. So you have to do the power first. Here, again, just be careful. 16 times negative 2 is negative 32 plus the 19. I do this a little weird. You'll see. Here you get 16. Take away 32 plus 19. There's always this weird symmetry with the numbers, which is why I do it this way. Here you get negative 16. This is how I just like to add them. These numbers always come out this way. It's just weird. No matter how I design it, it always comes out this way. So here you get negative 16, right? Positive 16, take away 32 is negative 16. And now you have 19 minus 16, which is 3. That's the second part of your vertex. So again, you got to write it as a point. Why? Because you may have to plot that point. So x comma y. X is negative 2, y is 3. Be careful with the plugging in and the signs. You know, there are a lot of mistakes there. That 16 looks really horrible. Okay, problem 3b, finding the vertex with the formula. So it's not in the proper form to just read the vertex off. So I have to use the negative b over 2a thing, which will tell me the x part, and then I'm going to plug that back in and find the y part. So b is 12 here, right? It's the number in front of x. B is 12. And then the a is the number in front of the x squared, which is negative 2. And again, just be careful when you do it. It's not that difficult. Negative 12 on top, right? The b was positive 12, so the sign switched. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Now be careful, you have a negative over a negative, which is a positive 3. So the x part of my vertex is 3. To get the y part, really simple. I got to plug that in. Now I say really simple, but again, you got to watch your signs. Be very careful when you do this. There's only 2 places where there's an x, here and here. So you put a 3 there, you put a 3 there. Remember, you cannot hop the fence with the power on, right? You cannot multiply this 3 by this 2. You want to, but you can't. It's wrong. You have to shut the power off, then you can multiply. So that's 9. Here you can just multiply. 12 times 3, 36. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. I mean, however you want to combine these numbers together. 36 take away 18 is 18, right? Positive 18. And then 18 take away 23 is negative 5. So my vertex then, I don't know where the hell to put it. The x part of it was 3. The y part of it was negative 5. Okay, so again, it's straightforward. Just be careful with the signs and plug it in. The x part is just a formula. The y part you have to plug back into the original function. All right. Okay, 4a, the first problem that requires a lot of work. You're supposed to find the x-intercepts, the y-intercepts, and the vertex. I'm going to do the vertex first. Let's pick the a and the b so we don't get confused. Oh man, b is 6 again. My b and my 6 look very similar. This bothers me. Oh well. So the x part is negative b over 2a. b was 6, so I have to do negative 6. This is the problem. The b looks a lot like a 6. I have to avoid this. I should have made a different number there. And then 2a. A was negative 1. So I get negative 6 on top, and I get negative 2 on the bottom, which gives me positive 3. So x has to be 3. So now all I have to do to figure out what the y part is replace this x and this x with the 3. Be very, very careful. Negative sign stays where it is. You are just replacing the x with a 3. The 6 stays where it is. You are just replacing the x with a 3. Okay? So nobody else gets messed with. Now, again, you got to be super careful here. You cannot take this negative in front in there with the 3. You're doing 3 times 3 and then hitting it with a negative 1, right? This is multiplication. So you're going to get y equals negative 9, right? 3 times 3 is 9. Then you hit it with the minus, plus 18 minus 8. Now, I told you in the last problem, there's always this weird symmetry here with the numbers, that it's always, right? 18 minus 9 is 9. The last example, it had, I think, 16 and 32, and then you get 16. You always get that. It's just weird. So you get 18 and 9. 18 take away 9 is 9. And then you subtract 8. So that whole thing comes out to be 1. I mean, you could just do 18 minus 17, the same damn thing, whatever you. Point is, you get y equals 1. So your vertex, this is very important. You're going to be doing these questions for me on an exam. I want them labeled. You have to tell me, this is the vertex, this is the x-intercept, this is the y-intercept. You can't just write a bunch of points randomly all over the page and then expect me to know what they are, or expect me to know that you know. You have to label them if you want to prove to me that you understand what they are. Now I'm going to do the x-intercept and the y-intercept. This question wants them all. It wants everything but the graph. And this graph would be a pain in the ass to draw anyway. X-intercept, y-intercept, x equals 0. X-intercept, y equals 0. Let's do the y-intercept first because it's faster and easier. To do the y-intercept, I just put 0 where all the x's are. Well, there you go. You're going to get negative 0 squared plus 6 times 0, take away 8. Wow, so hard. 0. 0 squared, make it negative, still 0. 6 times 0, still 0. 0 take away 8, not 0. 0 take away 8 is negative 8. So my y-intercept, x is 0, y is negative 8, right? X, y, that's every point. You don't have to put that, I just put that. Now, x-intercept is much harder in this question. You got to replace the y with a 0. Now, this is when this problem gets very, very nasty and confusing. You do not want to try to factor this like this. Look, negative x squared. Yeah, put your 2 parentheses down. What are you going to do? You're going to do negative x and x? You don't want this. The only way to get negative x squared is if you had a negative x and a positive x. This is going to make your factoring miserable, and you will likely mess up your signs. To avoid this, switch them all. What do you get when you switch the sign of 0? 0. That's why it's awesome. Switch, switch, switch. Switch them all to the opposite. You can only do this here. You cannot switch them up there where the y is. You see how my a is negative 1, my b is 6? If you try switching them there, wrong. It doesn't work. You cannot switch them there. That's not the correct thing. You can only switch them here because of this 0. 0, when you switch it, stays the same. Now you have x squared. You can factor it. So let's see. I have a positive 8. So my signs are the same. They're both negative. To make a 6, I need 4 and 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 times 2, 8. So it works. So I get x equals 4, x equals 2, but I want to write them as points. X is 4, y is 0. And then x is 2, and y is 0. So those are my 2. My 0 looks funky. Those are my 2 x-intercepts. So again, very tricky because of this minus. You have to get rid of it in order to help you factor it easier, all right? No quadratic formula, no completing the square, nothing else. Factoring, it's gonna factor, okay? This is what you have to do. Okay, question 5a, the mother of all problems. I took the liberty of putting a little grid there since I'm going to draw the picture. So you need to do the x and y intercepts. You need to do the vertex. You're gonna have all those dots. You're gonna draw the dots and you're gonna play connected dots. You're gonna make your little parabola. So as before, y-intercept, set x equal to 0. This is pretty easy. You're going to get 0. You get 0 squared minus 4 times 0. Cut to the chase, that's 0. So one of your points is right there at the origin. They call that the origin because all of the points originate from there. Whenever you draw a point, you start there. Then you go up, down, left, right, all that stuff. So you're right in the middle there at 0, 0. Now, x-intercept again, y equals 0. This is just like the problem 1c. If you screw this up, if you get the x-intercepts wrong, the whole thing is shot because you'll draw the dots in the wrong place and then your pitch is not going to be right. So if you put x plus 2, x minus 2, or x minus 4, x plus 1, or some whatever variation, that's it. The dots are wrong. It's over. This is the greatest common factor. You factor out the x. So you get x parentheses, x minus 4. That tells you that either x is 0 or x is 4. So those are your 2 points. 0, 0. Ooh, look, a repeat. And 4, 0. You know, you want to put the little x and the y. I like to put the little x and y above them. You don't have to do that. Now, all I'm missing is the vertex. Again, I want you to notice that I'm labeling everything very carefully. Y-intercept labeled, x-intercept labeled. The vertex I'm about to do labeled. Make sure you label all of your work. It's very important. So the vertex is negative b over 2a. So let's see, what's a? A is 1. The number in front of x squared, there isn't 1. It's an invisible 1. B is the number in front of the x, which is negative 4. So you're going to do negative b, but b is a negative number. So you're doing minus minus 4 all over 2a. But a was just 1. I don't need that anymore. Negative negative 4 is positive 4 all over 2, which is 2. So that tells me that my x coordinate of the vertex is 2. So now I'm going to go back to my original equation. Wherever you see x, you put it 2. You should get a pretty reasonable number here. 2 squared is 4. My 2 looks weird there. It's bugging me. 2. 2 squared is 4. Minus 4 times 2. So you have 4 take away 8. Right? Negative 8. So 4 minus 8. You have 4. You spend 8. You owe 4. So that's the y coordinate. So we're going to write it as a pretty point. Now, I have 4 points. It's just that 2 of them are the same. 2 of them are 0, 0, which is actually very convenient. It's very nice. So I'm going to plot those points, and then I'm going to very carefully, as neatly as I can, try and connect the dots. So first I'm going to draw 0, 0 right there in the middle. Then I'm going to draw 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Those points live on the x-axis. There's the y-axis. I mean, I made my y kind of tiny. Make it bigger. Now, that's it, right? I mean, since you had a repeat, you don't, that's it. All I need now is the vertex. So, right, it should be, I mean, you can kind of see already that, it should be going this way. I know that it's going to be a smiley face because I know the number in front of the x squared is a positive. My eraser's there. So I'm going to go to 2, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So go down to here. It's about in the middle. I'm trying to draw it as accurately as I can. It ain't going to be perfect. Now I just have to make the bowl. Now look, it's a parabola, so it's curvy. Don't connect these with a straight line. Try to make it curvy. Like that. This one's going to be hard. I think I'll start there. Let's go. It's going to go like about here. And then down, 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 curvy. I tried. It goes up more. That's good enough. I mean, I'm not looking for perfection. It looks like a U, right? This was your bottom point. Vertex is at the bottom. Let's try to make it look prettier. If you miss your dot a little bit, make the dot bigger. That's what you do. I mean, this is about as good as I'm going to draw it, by hand. You're drawing it by hand, so, I'm flexible. If you draw me this is not a U, this is a V, right? You connect them with curves, right? This is a curve. A parabola is a U. So, as long as you're not drawing me straight lines, I'm okay with it. You missed the dot a little bit. So, but this is drawing the picture, right? This is all your points. If this question was, hypothetically, if this question was, say, 5 points, the picture itself is worth 1 point, right? You draw it bad or whatever, I'm not expecting perfection, and you're not going to be using graph paper. I mean, I'd rather you don't, but there isn't much to say. All the work is here. If all this is correct and the graph is a little off, whatever. It's not going to kill you. All right, so that was a hard one. Drawing the picture.